Hello again. Thank you for joining me. This is AirJobBoss TV, and you are tuned into the airline interview general section. Today, I'm going to go over a general topic, and that is the 3 biggest reasons why a candidate fails an interview. Now, before I begin, there's a little bit of a disclaimer. Your failure or success depends on a wide variety of metrics that they are scoring you by, and this is a cumulative process based on your application, your experience level, your currency, the way in which you do your metric testing, personality testing, personal interviews. So it is a very broad spectrum in many cases, especially at larger airlines or older airlines that have a detailed interviewing and application process. But at smaller airlines where their interview process is abbreviated, the personal interview is pretty paramount because they're trying to determine whether you as a person match what's on the application. And the good news is if you're invited to an interview, they pretty much hired you. So that is very reassuring to you, and proper preparation you should do to be very excited to be successful. Now, here are the 3 biggest reasons that people fail the application process, and this is given to me by the people that I contact and I know within HR departments throughout the industry. The number 1 reason is lack of documentation. Airlines require certain documentation to be presented to them in person or through an upload or on the application itself as far as sections to complete thoroughly. So always make sure your application is completed thoroughly and all the documents they're requesting are uploaded or provided to them. Also, when you attend, many airlines will have a checklist of items to bring with you, and it is very important you triple check that checklist and bring all the required documentation to the interview. Currently, because airlines are hiring so many people so quick, they are oftentimes waiving the document presentation or uploading of the document in advance, inviting you to an interview and then allowing you to upload documents later. And this is where people drop the ball. They get the interview, they're experienced, they have the qualifications, they show up, they do well during the testing and the interview, and they fail to upload proper documentation after the fact that's required because the companies are responsible to background check you. Criminal, pilot training history, employment history, etc. So those documents are so important. That is the number 1 reason why people do not actually achieve a class date and become hired. Number 2 is that during the interview process, they do not answer the questions that are presented properly or in a complete format, or the answer does not target the question's target. And these questions are always asked to detect certain characteristics, integrity, honesty, self-critique, or they are asked to detect your ability to operate within their environment, given threat and error management, CRM policies and procedures, or they are detecting core competencies, problem solving, critical thinking, conflict resolution, good communication skills, analytical thinking. These types of things they're trying to detect. So oftentimes a question is asked to detect something and the answer given does not answer the requirement and the seeking of that particular concept or characteristic that the question is seeking. So that's why one-on-one professional preparation is so key. So when you're asked a question, you understand, you hear not just the question, but what it is targeting, what they're asking you really. Are they asking you about your personality? Or are they asking you about your knowledge? Or are they asking you about a core competency that they want you to demonstrate in a story and so forth? So, and then of course, answering in a format that they can understand accordingly to the evaluation process that they're writing down is very key. And this is the number 2 reason why people do not pass the interviews, because they say that the question was not answered properly or completely. Okay, number 3 is that there is a discontinuity between the application submitted and the person in front of them. Now, they invite you to the interview based on your application and supporting documentation. So on paper, you look like a well-qualified individual that they have already decided to hire. But when you sit down and speak to them and answer questions about your application, about your experience, about your skills, and about your talents, they do not detect continuity. Now, this can be chalked up to nervousness on your behalf and an inability to kind of navigate the interview answer properly because of the lack of organization in your answers. This can also come out as disingenuous or dishonest or not actually having the experience that you claim you have, right? Because your experience that's on the paper should indicate a certain skill level, talent, and abilities, right? And so during the asking of the questions on the interview, they are really asking about, do you comply? Does your experience comport with what you're saying? And they find that there's a discontinuity. There's just something off. Yeah, that would be an easy way of saying there's something off. We have the qualifications, but the person doesn't seem to jive with that qualification. So we don't find the application valid. Yeah. So also proper preparation and one-on-one preparation is really important because the person who prepares you has to know you very well. They have to sit down, discuss your application, your experience, your skills, your talents, your background, because the questions that are asked are going to have to be personalized to your personality so that there's a continuity between your application and your documentation and what you say in front of that person, okay? Now, those are the three biggest indicators of failure that I have discovered from the HR departments at airlines, and I'm going to add two others myself based on just what I see from the people that I prepare, and in the past, the people that I've helped prepare their applications for other airlines, and as a person who is very close to the hiring department as a chief pilot for an airline. So here is the caveat AirJobBoss, and that is likability. Believe it or not, likability plays a big part in the evaluation process, because if they like you, they are going to maybe favor or give you leeway in some of the answers. And if they like you, they're apt to ask you follow-up questions that allow you to complete the requirement of the question. Yeah, like if you're not kind of getting the right theme in your answer or hitting the right competency or what they're seeking, they can ask a follow-up as a way to help you help them write, yes, complete answer, I recommend this pilot. So likability is really important. Now, the best way to establish likability is to be relaxed during the interview process. And the only way you can be relaxed in the interview process is feeling confident about yourself, that you want to work for this airline and you are worthy of them hiring you. That confidence is going to come through knowing the interview process well. Knowing what environment you're going into, knowing their company culture, knowing their history, knowing what they're looking for. Again, personal preparation will help you become more comfortable entering that particular airline. Okay, the last thing is testing. The metric testing, the testing you do on a computer, or the testing, well, a lot of the time it's done in advance now during the application process. Sometimes when you show up to the interview, you will be doing some cognitive testing, personality testing, and those tests will be weighted either against other applicants or against a standard metric. Now, in today's environment, this is 2022 leading into 2023, the standards for these tests are being lowered quite a bit because the applicant's experience level is much lower. So it is not as serious as it is that it has been in the past, and it is not as serious now as it will be in the future. Nevertheless, it behooves you to get proper preparation before taking these tests. And there are many online software companies that have tests that are very, very similar to the tests that are given to you at major airlines and other airlines to test you in cognitive and personality. Okay? the person who prepares you will have a list of those and can refer you to those websites and so forth. Okay, that's it for today. Those are the reasons why people fail their interview and do not get offered that job that they really, really want. Anyway, thank you. Subscribe, like, comment if you've had a failure and you know what the reason why it was. Please comment below for the other viewers. Okay, thank you so much. I am the AirJob Boss. This is AirJob Boss TV. We'll see you next time.